MB Collins here.
And we're going to get started today with, first of all, there's a new movie that's coming out called Extraction 2. So me and my brother, we normally, when we see something like a movie or a TV series, we like to get the start going. We like to go ahead and look at where did it come from before we go ahead and break into the new one. It makes sense, right?
Follow through, understand where it came from, what's important, make sure we have the context clues necessary to understand what we're getting into. Plus, the chief action officer on Netflix told me to watch it.
So, yeah, like I was saying, we decided to check out the first Extraction when we went ahead and saw that. And we're probably going to do a follow-up on this when we...
Not probably. We're going to do a follow-up.
when we finish watching Extraction 2. But the first one, Extraction, we just finished seeing, and me and my brother, we have our takes on it. It is one of the top 10 movies right now on Netflix. Extraction 2 is also one of the top 10.
What's today's date so that way we can have a current?
Today is 6/25, 2023.
Which means shout out to Rev Ross. He unfortunately had to work, but happy birthday, Rev Ross. We love you, brother.
Definitely happy birthday, brother. But continuing on, so I decided to show my brother this movie because I liked it, and I said it's action-packed. It's old-school action like me and my brother used to like back in the day. Think Rambo, Die Hard, Predator, that kind of line of movie. So, brother, I'll go ahead and ask you, what are your general first thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and break down the smaller parts to it.
So do you want me to give the movie a rating or?
Well, let's go Siskel and Ebert it,
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down? Really?
Thumbs down. This is one of those, I have to quote Rev Ross with Spills. If it weren't for you, I would not have enjoyed this movie. Wow. It was because I had someone here to laugh at some of the foolishness.
And tomfoolery.
And say it with me. The foolishness and fuckery is what made it worthwhile. You know how some movie theaters you don't want to go into because people are going to talk during the movie? Mm-hmm. And you know how some movie theaters you want to go through because they're going to talk during the
i.e. the Blackening, which is out movie theaters right now.
And yes, I plan to see it in theaters. But the point I'm getting at is that there's a certain level of suspension of disbelief that happens when you watch a movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And they had a good part at first, and then it just kept going so sideways. I was just like, come on, man. Really? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's the general mine is, of course, a thumbs up for it, but I think it's the general thought that in all of these kind of action movies, the hero is incredibly lucky.
Shout out to Nerd Explains. He'll go ahead and have why your favorite heroes will XYZ, and it just makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and take more of the Spills rating and go ahead and say this is a watch on Netflix with friends thing. This is a great time killer, but if you're looking to go ahead and be titillated or intellectually
it's not intellectually stimulating at all.
And I mean, how much of the stuff was I guessing before it happened?
Yeah, you're right.
It was very Hollywood, and that's the problem. Is that my initial thought was the fact that spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. The majority of the movie is not taking place in the U.S. in any fashion whatsoever.
No, correct. It's split in between Bangladesh and India, and actually the majority of it is in Bangladesh, Dhaka.
So, it's one of those things where, okay, cool. Of the last 10 years, what's one of your favorite action movies?
That doesn't or does include zombies?
Touche, either.
I'm gonna say a favorite that I'm gonna say probably. You are definitely gonna hate me for this, but
does it involve Journey?
No.
Okay.
Army of the Dead. I'm gonna say it's one of my favorite ones before this. And the thing is because you don't really get a lot of really solid, good action movies anymore.
Well,
I don't know
well, you know
what
what
it
the
is.
problem is too. What I was going to get at is it's probably more than 10 movies, 10 years ago. I really, really liked when we had a glut of foreign films coming through, and they were being higher budget and worthwhile. Like I'll watch a Donnie Yen movie in no time because I know I'll have the action and it'll be believable. He won't come out unscathed. You know what I mean? He'll go ahead and take his lumps and bruises. The Tony Ya movies, Protector, Ong Bak, I was loving that. You know what I mean? Uh,
But I think those are all like even IP man. I think by now we're at least 10 years out from all of that stuff
yeah,
now.
so it's one of those. You're right that we don't have that as an option, but like I love the District 13 movie. You know what I mean? With the parkour and all the foolishness that goes with it. I believe besides John Wick, there's nothing that comes to my. Well, excuse me. I'm gonna say this. Fuck Sisu. I have zero interest in seeing that movie. I don't know anybody who's watched that movie.
Actually, you brought up a good point. John Wick probably would be higher on. I'd say John Wick 3 probably would be higher on my list, and I've seen all four of them now. Than
Yeah.
Army of Dead.
Also, would you consider the Marvel movies action in any capacity? Also,
That is true. That is true. So I'd have to, if in that case, then I'm going to say it would probably be Infinity Endgame. I'm going to say it would probably be Avengers Endgame.
and see, the funny part is the end fight. That was a build up. You were ready for that, this, that, and the third. But so much of it was time and space manipulation and theory and thinking about it. It didn't feel like an action movie. They had elements of action, but not
Right.
an action movie.
Like it was definitely high on the drama scale, and I think that's what makes it hard to differentiate it between an action movie and I don't know what you a superhero blockbuster. I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I liked about this movie and that I'll tell you is it feels like yes, at the beginning it kind of was a little slow to build up, but once it gets going, it doesn't stop. And I actually like that in
No,
action
no,
movie.
no. There was a bridge in the action. There was a bridge when Brad said it best.
Brad.
The Goonies from Hell. And then when he went to Gasper's house, yeah, that was a definitive break in the action to go ahead and reconvene, figure out what's going on, let you gain your bearings. You know what I mean?
Right. I just I don't feel as though it was a strong one, but yeah, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Is that they did have certain breaks here and there, but I just felt as though like it it's one of those movies personally. For you, apparently it would be different, but personally, I could watch that movie at like maybe around 1 a.m. and it would keep me up until 3 because I'd be wanting to know from about 1:30 until 3 o'clock what exactly every moment about what happens next, what happens next, what happens next for me.
Fair enough. And like I said, I was predicting many parts of the plot as it went through. Because, like I said, spoiler alert. So if you're going to be mad that we spoiled it, don't listen to this. I
Right.
mean, it's also.
Well, listen to it after you watch it.
Also, Extraction came out in 2020.
Yeah, correct. The first one came out in 2020.
So, yeah, that's the one
we
we're
really
talking
shouldn't
about.
be spoiling that much right now.
You know, uh, for me, I was really concerned and confused at suspension of disbelief, number one. And number two, remember when we used to argue about Samurai Champloo, and I honestly thought the film was tenuous at best. Oh, excuse me, the series was tenuous at best. I didn't believe Mugen and Jin had any reason to follow Fu, any reason.
Well, I think you didn't like either the character of Mugen or Fu. I think the only character from Shampoo that you liked was Jin.
That is correct, but like I said, the reason for following was so tenuous. It wasn't believable.
Right. I get you. And in Samurai Champloo is really one of those series that has to kind of grow on you. I know what my brother would say would be the music probably is what engrosses you into the series more than anything else. Like without its music, it probably loses a lot of its flow.
Like I'll put it easier. So as much as I'm a Cowboy Bebop fan, the Bebop is manned by Jet Black and and Spike Spiegel, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're a partnership. They're doing the damn thing. They get the data dog, and he's part of it. And Ein just joins because Ein is whimsical. I get that. I have no problem with that. Faye's joining is because she had no other better options. And when she got one, she left. It made sense. Shampoo did not make fucking sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. And my concern is Brad did not have a reason to do the things he was doing except some tough guy sense of honor code nonsense owed to his son. Bull.
Yeah, that's what it really was it was a connection with his son. And that's what I mean. If you've had a child that passed and everything like that, you know that certain things will happen that'll make you think about that particular child, and it'll make it very hard to do certain decisions, you know. And that's something that I kind of got about Tyler in the movie, was the fact that
Brad.
We called him Brad, yeah, because he said he doesn't look like a Tyler. He looks like a Brad, like, which was funny. But yeah, that's what I think it is the fact that that code was there because, you know, and Nick kind of set him up for that because she should have known this would have hit too close to home. You know, that's what I was saying.
Like I said,
as a handler, you need to handle that a little bit better.
So let's back up for a second. And for those who didn't watch and who might be interested in watching, it is unnecessary action. It's over the top. So take a pause with what you're doing. You have Crime Lord A and Crime Lord B.
Mm-hmm.
Crime Lord A is in jail currently, and his son gets taken
by Crime Lord B.
Mm-hmm. Hemsworth, Brad, and his team are basically getting a wire transfer to go ahead and extract him. Extraction, that's the name of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Extract him, and then they'll go ahead and get a wire transfer the first, and then the final part upon delivery of the young man.
Yes,
makes sense.
They got the first before the film started. They got the first wire transfer, and then the second transfer was supposed to come through.
And things went downhill from there. It was one of those smoking aces. I'm gonna let everybody fight it out and go ahead, and somebody's gonna give it to me for cheap if my guys can't get it on their own volition.
Right.
Now, one of the things I did like was how some of the characters were introduced, because you could feel if you're judging a book by its cover, they made it apparently clear who was who and why. So, for example, the Crime Lord B, the one who kidnapped the young boy in question, his name is Ovi. The guy who's in charge of it, and he looks like he's done his fair share of dirt.
Yeah,
he knows how to launder the money and look clean, but you know he's what Mr. Gay said, you get it out the mud. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But his swarthy henchman, that dude looks like he likes just stomping pigs.
Like, yeah.
Sorry to tell you, he unalived a kid.
Yeah. Just how you just, like, my brother was like, oh well, yeah, he's going off.
They was trying to go ahead and find some money went missing.
Yeah, some money went missing.
And then he just grabbed one kid and said, over the edge with you, threw him off a roof. And I'm like, well.
And then after he did that, that's when he asked the first question. Okay, so who stole my money? After one kid already went flying off the roof.
Just gone.
He said, okay, so who stole my money?
And I'm like, okay, so he's not the one to mess with. You know what I mean? You're automatically showing that he's the one willing to do the dirt, but he's the one willing to make sure it happens. You know what I mean? And that was like, okay, we know exactly where we stand and why. You know?
And Farid, that was your favorite character from the whole show. I guess.
He's the only one that had sense-ish. So what ends up happening is, if you ever saw Schindler's List, the amount of times when it said, who did this? And they'd point to the dead body to make sure there were no further casualties. Well, when they asked who took the money, they indicated it was the young boy who already was, you know,
Well, say it right. Fahid indicated it was the young boy who already flew off the building.
Flew is not landed. Flew is not the right word. He launched pad McQuack like a motherfucker.
So yeah,
Oh my.
that was what happened, and then the crime boss was like, well, he said, I need a reminder of the fact that somebody has paid a consequence for taking my money. So he said, you said it was the guy that just flew off the building. Well, if that's the case, then I need you to go ahead and
He pops a knife out, hands it to him, and says,
yeah, I need you to go ahead and cut off 2 of your fingers so that I always have a reminder that that's what happens to people that take my money. And luckily, clever and lucky, he got saved at the last minute by him finding out that the kid was taken back by Tyler and his team.
yeah, the colonel comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, you got, and he's like, you set this up.
So yeah, that it really is. For me, from a certain point, it just felt like a high energy. What was a good comparison movie to me as far as the high energy for the whole time? You remember that movie in which Jason Statham, I think it was, had
Who?
The martial arts guy, Jason
Statham.
Sorry, had the car battery that had to be strapped to his heart because he didn't have a heart or anything like that.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm a Jason Statham fan.
It's a martial arts movie in which he needed to have some kind of adrenaline always flowing.
It was like a bad version of Speed. Yeah. Let me press the button to see if I can look it up. Hold on.
But my point is that movie to me didn't feel like it had a letdown. It didn't feel like it had a major break. Like it had maybe small breaks in the middle, but it didn't feel like it had a major break. It was always action packed. And
Crank,
that's the name of it. And and I had the same kind of feeling from off of this movie as I felt as though it was always action packed. And so
I can give you that. Like when you first go ahead and have them trying to escape from the slums, we find out that the cops are in on it, and so at this point, Brad can't trust anybody. He's now got his young charge.
He is, as he put it, in survival mode. Remember, he said those words. He said, "I'm in survival mode,"
and he cut off the comms because he was compromised.
Right.
So he's sitting there just trying to go ahead and make through. At one point it looked like he didn't reload twice, though. Let's be real. It's like, come on, man. And then I saw him do a quick reload, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you that one. All right, you got that one. But
a little later he did a full reload too. But yeah, it was the continuous cut, like I said. But in the middle of the
pause, because you kept saying that and it kept messing with me. Continuous cut or continuous shot? Two different things.
Continuous shot. I'm sorry. But what happens is during the continuous shot, it's when the camera it doesn't click off. Like how a camera goes scene 1, scene 2.
Yeah, there's no jump cuts. It's all one large shot, just like it was done in Creed. The scene in The Protector where he's going up the stairs, down the stairs. The camera never cuts. It never shifts away.
And I love those scenes in films because it shows that the action is always going on. It's like I guess it's the part of me that like 24 or something like that because you're always seeing something,
Fair enough.
And during those scenes and stuff like that, you get to see. Like Tyler, he has one moment where the camera is looking at Tyler, but then he gets involved in a fight, and the camera, it doesn't cut off. This is what is the beauty of that kind of scene. It scrolls it pans, and when it pans to the kid, and the kid is running at this point because Tyler's overwhelmed. He has like 3 or 4 guys on him at the time, and so the kid starts running, and the guy starts chasing the kid, and then you follow the kid for a while, and then you see the kid go past, and the guy has almost caught the kid, and next thing you know, Tyler comes through and shoots the guy in the face. and that kind of action is what keeps me engrossed in the film.
Fair enough, and I'll give you that one. But getting to some of the funny parts, uh, it gets to where they get to a small little warehouse, have a break. The city's not locked down yet, so they're trying to figure out what to go ahead and do. He's recovering because you forget at this point somebody's been hit by a truck.
Actually, both sides got hit by a truck.
So there was people getting hit by a vehicle moving, and all you saw was boots or flying hair. That was it.
And the fact that you could feel almost the feeling when he got up off the pavement after getting hit, like,
Oh yeah, no, you were like, oh, it's okay to stay down. I understand.
like there's certain points in which you be like, kick an old school jaw. Me's a give up. Me's a give up.
Me's a give up. So it gets to the point there at a warehouse. They're trying to figure out exfiltration and all this kind of stuff. And, they take a little bit of a rest. He gets some of his wounds taken care of, a little bit of recovery, time to go. Right. All of a sudden, they're jumped by, as he calls it, the Goonies from hell.
The Goonies from hell, yeah, exactly. Because this is one of these countries like that, a lot of the enemy forces are kids, I'm
about to say you recruit from the most available populace, and the most available populace is sometimes kids. And it's one of the reasons why RoboCop 2 was my favorite RoboCop, because you had the little kid and RoboCop couldn't do shit to him. Right. And he's like, it's kids. So, like the scene in the Karate Kid with Jaden and Jackie, when he takes on the 6 kids, and he's like, y'all are kids. I'm not trying to hit you. Right. I'm going to make y'all hit yourselves.
And there was definitely a lot of that going on where Tyler was just like, oh.
Come on, man.
I can't deal with this.
Like, dude, I'm not trying to hurt you.
Because there were times in which they would go at him full speed, and he just kick him so hard. He kicked them through the bike that was behind him into the wall.
The one part where he just kept slapping the little boy. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Like, I really wanted him to take his belt off at one point. I needed him to Rey Mysterio and Dominic his ass. Just calm your nerves. Calm your nerves.
Yeah, definitely.
But the part that really scared me, and this is me just, your right arm is shredded to shit. You have multiple open contusions and bruises, and I understand you're in survival mode and you got to get away. The choppers are scrambled. They're above head right now. But you're telling me the best option is to go into the sewers of a slum?
A slum in Bangladesh, where as you said, there is poo-poo curry.
No, it's dribble booty. Everybody just, ooh. One of the scariest things in the Resident Evil 2 remake was when you went into the sewer and Leon was already messed up and you went into G-Virus water.
Nasty.
I don't want none of what you got to. Ooh, ooh. You got me sound like Philip Reasons.
Like you see the alligator down there, and you're like, I don't know if it survived.
I hope it didn't.
Right.
Well, yeah, I was like, oh God, I can only imagine how. And when his friend came to pick him up, who owed him a life debt, he covered his mouth the whole time.
He's like
straight to the shower.
Yo,
I'm gonna hose you off.
I'm gonna hose you off outside.
Strip. I'm not even trying to see him. Just strip. That's not coming in my house. I get it. And here's the other worst part is this. I understand part of it is that the young man, Ovi, is supposed to be completely out of his head. He's just a school kid. He doesn't do any of this kind of goofiness.
He is the only person at the beginning of the film who does not have blood on his hands. In this entire movie, he's the only person that does not have blood on his hands.
And when he gets to the part, and like I said, spoiler alert, the friend who he owes a life debt to ratted him out.
Right.
And we're not surprised. I saw that one coming a mile away. Ray Charles saw that one coming a mile away. And You know,
And the thing is, Nick tried to warn him because, like, he was like, "Well, call Gaspar, and he'll, he has a favor that he owes me. He'll have to go ahead and do this." And she was like, "That's not a good idea, Tyler. That's not a good idea." And he's like,
because
"No,
remember,
he
if
has a
you're bought,
favor."
you're bought.
And she just knew automatically, she based off of the type of person he was, that it wasn't a good idea to involve him in the situation.
Exactly. And so of course it gets to the point where uh Brad and Gaspar start fighting, and because he's been beat down and he's bruised and he's all this fun stuff, what happens? He's losing. And Gaspar's about to finish up, and Ovi comes downstairs. And you know that look when the two siblings are fighting and get caused by the parents? We just playing. We just playing. We just playing.
Because Gaspar has Tyler down at this point and
Full mount position, about to do
he
the killing
has
blow.
a spike on him and everything. And Ovi has the gun and he's looking at him. And Gaspar gives him this look. Like he drops the spike. He like, whoop.
We just playing. We just playing. Remember, this is what special forces guys do. We wrestle in the middle of the night and cause a ruckus. This is what we do. Like, don't you play Madden in the middle of the night and you just jump up and tackle each other? That's what we do. And of course, Ovi has to unalive this man,
Right.
because he saw what happens, and now he has blood on his hand.
Right, and I understand what you were saying, but also I kind of understood too what Tyler's purpose was for why he didn't. Because my brother, when he saw it, he said that why didn't Tyler just kill Gaspar before he took the last breath from Ovi's shots? And I think part of the reason was because Tyler wanted him to know that this is the way that life leads you. I think he thinks in his way that might save him from going down the path that his father went down. No.
I think he just wasn't cognizant to do it. Honest to God.
Well, that is true. He was kind of beaten down at the time too.
Remember, he couldn't even hug him. Like I've got to take. It was so contrived
Well,
and bad.
at that point, both arms were almost bleeding anyway. He had reopened his wounds that just had recovered, and so he wasn't in the best of shape to do anything anyway.
Yeah. So, and then from there, they're trying to figure out how to extract. He's got to figure out how to bring the kid, and everybody's like, "Man, fuck that kid. We can bring you out, but we not. It's what it is. We got screwed with the money." And because of the fact that I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to make sure this, that, and the third, I'm going to make sure he gets out safe. And, man, fuck your code of honor. This kid done got you going through shitty booty sewers.
Right.
Your arm is fucked up.
At this point, they don't think there's any way they're getting paid.
And you are the one white man in a sea of brown. Everybody knows what you look like right now. You're
Right.
telling me you're going to get out? Come on, man. I understand you the commando and this. What was the movie with Keenan Wayne? Low Down Dirty Shame? When the city was after?
Yeah, the entire city. That's basically what happened. Was the guy that Amir, the guy that was the drug lord over Bangladesh. He's like, I want every gun in Dhaka pointed at this man, and he showed a picture of Tyler and
Brad.
and he's like, yeah, I want it all pointed at this man. And so Gaspar knew that because he said, you're pretty popular right now out there in them streets, basically.
He for the streets. Oh, God. Well, yeah, so it was one of those, at this point, we know we're just heading off for the huge, unnecessary confrontation. It's just one of those things. And the bridge scene was kind of nice. It took too long to culminate.
I got what you're saying, but it was at that point that they realized, okay, this is going to be it. This is going to be the moment, and it was the part where I can't remember what his name is, but also
the major domo for Ovi's father,
India,
for Omi's father,
crime family. But what he said,
Ovi, excuse me, not Omi.
But it was at that point that he really also, came out in order to, at this point, Tyler
Saju.
gave Saju. Tyler gave Ovi to Saju and was like, "Here, I'm going to distract everybody. I'm going to pull everybody to me, and y'all try to escape."
Say it with me, Warcraft. I'm taking the aggro.
I'm taking the aggro. Yeah, so that's what he did, and it worked for a little while until they realized Saju was the ugliest woman that ever existed.
He went ahead and he tried to put a wrap around himself and looked like a very, very, very. And remember, everybody's been beat up at this point of the movie.
Yeah.
So he's all. You ever put a wig on a man and be like, "That's good enough"? And like it's cocked to the side, and then you got a broken nose, black eye, like no makeup whatsoever. You just
One of the soldiers went by and was like, "Wait." He had to stop. He was like, "Wait a minute."
and like I said, if you would have been in full garb, turban covering and whatnot, that'd have been more believable. But for you to just throw that wrap over your head and pretend that was good enough, like, and look, if you are one of the people who know this, back me up. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you didn't do your science experiment and now you got to run to the store and your mama just threw an overcoat on and some socks and slippers because your little punk ass didn't do your
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he looked like. That's what he looked like. It was just bad. But, you know, he was trying to go ahead and do the easiest thing to get him across the bridge so he can get to extraction. Didn't work out, you know, tried to fight through. And like I said, the bridge fight was kind of nice. Bridge fight was kind of nice.
A lot of characters, they didn't make it into the sequel because of that bridge fight.
Oh, no. All I heard was Chris Tucker. You ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. You ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3.
Ain't gonna be.
Oprah was just handing them out. You don't get to be in Rush Hour 3. You don't get to be.
I mean, there was a great sniper versus sniper moment, too. In there too, so
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't a sniper versus sniper moment.
It was sniper versus doesn't know there was another sniper. Because remember, we never knew the colonel.
Mm-hmm.
We knew he was going to be a sniper because he said, "Get my rifle."
Right.
He did not know Nick was on the scene.
Right.
So it was not sniper versus sniper.
And that's one thing that definitely. You see more prolifically in the next one is you see a lot more of the twins. There's a brother and sister twin group, Nick and Yaz, and so you see them more in the sequel, but you don't really see them as much in action. Although Nick does make quite a few saves during this movie.
very, very. I mean, she's the one that does what at the end of it all, kills the drug lord. I mean,
Right.
So I wasn't ready for this. Drug lord goes to the urinal, then all of a sudden this gorgeous woman pulls up.
With the split that goes down the leg.
It just I want what you have to offer. Wait,
Wait.
This is a urinal. Why are you here?
Bam.
One in the dome piece. And then she proceeded to Lana his ass and empty the clip, and I'm like, oh, that's a receipt. So the point being is that coming to it, extraction's a decent waste of time. You know what I mean? But understand this, it is just that, a waste of time. You want to go ahead and it's 11:30 at night. You got to be up for 6:45. You just need to go ahead and watch something. You know, you could put this on, and then Netflix is going to say, "Are you still watching?"
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go ahead and watch part 2 because part 1, I don't believe that he's supposed to survive from the shit that happened to him. You got shot in the neck, Fight Club style.
Shot in the chest too, because remember he couldn't breathe at the end of that.
Yeah, you took a nice hand-to-hand scene. You got hit by a truck. Saju got hit by a truck, but he's dead already. And you telling me he's gonna come on, bro.
But remember, like I said, we just saw the beginning of the second movie, and in the beginning of the second movie, you see he has all kinds of freaking injuries from the first movie. He can't walk. He can barely like move his arm in order to write.
He's got a stone cold brace on one of his legs.
Yeah, and the arm brace on the other one. And
Which punches him in the bad arm. I'd have slapped the piss out of him. And then you give me an ugly shirt? Boy, I can't wait to catch you down bad. That's that drove. That's that drove.
So yeah, I definitely and most of Netflix apparently agrees with me. It is definitely one that I'd say at least to check out a little bit, and I think you'll probably stick with it after you do. But
this is the part that's gonna be bad for me. I gotta watch the second one without you, so that we can be ready to record next week. I'm not looking forward to this because I'm gonna be fussing the whole way through.
I'm pretty sure you'll. Let me put it like this: you'll enjoy the second one better than the first one. You will.
I'm gonna put it like this: I enjoyed watching Nerf John Wick, and I think I'm gonna enjoy that more.
Nerf John Wick.
Intern, put it in the notes.
Okay, all right. So with that being said, brother, I think it's closing time.
I don't disagree. I just don't want to have to go through this sewer to do something.
Thank you for listening to the Benchmark Podcast, a product of Benchmark Media, LLC, where we always attempt to establish a positive benchmark. We would like to remind everyone that the views and opinions expressed are strictly the views and opinions of each individual, and those views do not reflect the stance of Benchmark Media. Any opinion stated is not to be construed as professional advice or help. Please contact a professional for any help you may require. We would like to thank all of our guests for today and also for contributions of our listening family. Remember to contact us at therealbenchmarkpodcast@gmail.com or www.therealbenchmarkpodcast.com. Or you can follow us on social media, Facebook, or Instagram. And if you'd like to be a friend of the show, you can donate to us on our PayPal.
You can give me a drink.
All rights reserved by Benchmark Media, LLC.